is your first time coming across my video, do want to check the other videos I've done where we've read the summary of chapter 1 to 10, because this video will be reading chapter 11 to 20. Welcome back to today's reading. So now we'll be reading the chapter 11 to chapter 20. So if you're just joining us, do well to like, comment, share, and subscribe to this channel, and tell your friends and family about this wonderful channel where we read suffer books together towards a better version of ourselves. So chapter 11 is talking about the third law. The third law, which says, make it easy, walk slowly, but never backward. So how many points do we have here? We have 5 points here. One, the third law of behavior change is make it easy. Two, the most effective form of learning is practice, not planning. Then three, focus on taking action, not being in motion. Then four, habit formation is the process by which a behavior becomes progressively more automatic through repetition. Then we have five, the amount of time you have been performing a habit is not as important as the number of times you have performed it. I hope you understand all the points here for the summary of chapter 11. Focus on taking action, not just being in emotion, because sometimes you might feel you're actually doing something, whereas you're not taking the action. You're just emotional because you're just like, okay, let's say you've made a decision that you want to. Let's use starting a channel as an example. You've made a decision that you want to start a channel, and then you keep on making research how to do it perfect. You just take the action. Don't just be emotion. Take an action. And the author used an example here whereby he said he gave what's it called to students. He grouped them into two. Then we have the quantity group and we have the quality group. And he told the quantity groups that okay, you will be graded with as much pictures as you can take. And he told the quality group that all you need to do is provide one good picture. That's what you'll be graded with. Then at the end of the day, he told the quantity pictures that if you take 100 pictures, you're getting an A. If you take 90 pictures, B, 60 pictures, C, and so on. You get what I'm saying, right? So at the end of the day, when they were to submit, you would be surprised to know that the quantity pictures people, the group, they excelled more than the quality pictures that are supposed to provide just one picture. Why? Because rather than taking action, rather than doing what they're supposed to do, they spent their time mostly on planning. Oh, what angle are we going to get the best shots, because they were asked to provide just one picture that would be perfect. What angle are we supposed to take the best shots? What camera lighting are we supposed to do? How are we supposed to arrange it? All the stuff. So at the end of the day, they got nothing. But if they had also like the quantity people, and in fact, the other one was even letting us know that the quantity people had best pictures, like they had the best pictures, even without all those planning, which shows us that taking actions is actually the best. So I hope you understand what this chapter summary is all about. Then moving on to chapter 12. Remember, chapter 11 is walk slowly but never backward. Then chapter 12, we have the law of least effort, how to achieve more with less effort. So the summary of that is one, human behavior follows the law of least effort. We will naturally gravitate towards the option that requires the least amount of work. Then number two, we have create an environment where doing the right thing is as easy as possible. Then number three, reduce the friction associated with good behaviors. When friction is low, habit is easy. Then we have number five, increase the friction associated with bad behaviors. When friction is high, habits are difficult. Then the last point here says, prime your environment to make further actions easier. Prime your environment to make further actions easier. I think in the last video we did, there was something like this that told us you already know you don't want to wake up and the next thing you're doing is taking off your phone and you know going to social media. Then do not put your phone on your bedside. Like, do not do that. But in fact, you can even say, okay, you want to put your phone in another room so you will be able to focus on what you want to do. You already know that, okay, this week I have these goals to achieve. But social media is a distraction to me. I'm always distracted once I put on my data. Then this is what you can do. You can hand over your password to a friend or a trusted family member. Let them change your password. If you can't log in into it, if you can't log in into your account, then you'll be able to focus on what you want to do. Those are suggestions, please. Then chapter 13, we have how to stop procrastinating by using the 2 minute rule. How to stop procrastinating by using the 2 minute rule. Um, the summary of that is, what is the two minute rule? Let me explain that before diving into the summary of that chapter. So it says, even when you know you should start small, it is easy to start so big. When you dream about making a change, Excitement inevitably takes over, and you end up trying to do too much too soon. You're like, oh, I want to read this book finish. And you know that you're not a reader. Like, you're not a reader, you just want to start the habit of reading. Then you give yourself this task of, I want to finish this book. And at the end of the day, you'll not even be able to finish it because the friction you've added to it is too much for you to bear. So what do you do? What makes it easy for you to do? Tell yourself, rather than telling yourself, I want to read for 1 hour before going to bed. Tell yourself, I will read 2 pages. That 2 pages you want to read, in 2 minutes you'll be done with it. So that's the 2 minute rule. You said read before bed each night. Rather than that, you can put read 1 page. Rather than telling yourself, I will do 30 minutes of yoga, you can tell yourself, I will take out my yoga mat. Trust me, when you take out your yoga mat, you will do that yoga. Then, rather than telling yourself, I will study for class, let it be, I will open my notes. When you open your notes, you and I both know your goal is not to open your notes. But when you've done that the first day, the second day you do it again, the third day you open your notes, then the fourth day naturally to come to you. When you open your notes, you will study because you don't want to end up like wasting your time at the end of the day. So when you open your notes, you are going to study. Then we have a fold the laundry. Not that I tell you, say, oh, I'll fold the laundry once I come back from work. Tell yourself, okay, once I'm back from work, I will fold one socks. When you pick up one socks to fold, you are going to fold the entire plate and you won't even know when you'll be done with it. Then rather than telling yourself, I will run through my, tell yourself, I will tie my running shoes. So, how to stop procrastination by using the 2 minute rule? Let's read the chapter summary. 1. Habits can be completed in a few seconds, but continue to impact your behavior for minutes or hours afterward. 2. Many habits occur at decisive moments, choices that are like a fork in the road, and either send you in the direction of a productive day or an unproductive day. When you wake up in the morning, you have two choices. Do you pick up your phone or do you lay your bed? One will send you on the path of an unproductive day, and another one will send you on the path of a productive day. Then we have three. The 2 minute rule states that when you start a new habit, when you start a new habit, it should take less than 2 minutes to do so you don't get bored. So, number four, the more you ritualize the beginning of a process, the more likely it becomes that you can slip into the state of deep focus that is required to do great things. Then the next point says standardize before you optimize. You can't improve a habit that doesn't exist. Let that habit be part of yourself before you start saying, oh, I have to finish this book in 1 month. Start by reading 2 pages first. So the next chapter we are going into how to make good habits inevitable and bad habits impossible. Let me read this particular line that I like. Sometimes success is less about making good habits easy and more about making bad habits hard. This is an inversion of the third law of behavior change. Make it difficult. If you find yourself continually struggling to follow through on your plans, then you can take a page from Victor Hugo and make your bad habits more difficult by creating what psychologists call a commitment device. A commitment device is a choice you make in the present that controls your actions in the future. It is a way to lock in future behavior, bind you to good habits, and restrict you from bad ones. When Victor Hugo shut his clothes away so he could focus on writing, he was creating a commitment device. There are many ways to create a commitment device. You can reduce overeating by purchasing food in individual packages rather than in bulk size. You can voluntarily ask to be added to the banned list of casinos and online poker sites to prevent further gambling sprees. These are for people that are addicted to gambling. I've even heard of athletes who have to make weight for a competition, choosing to leave their wallet at home during the week before weighing so they won't be tempted to buy fast food. Then, as another example, my friend and fellow habits expert Neil Eyal purchased an outlet timer, which is an adapter that is plugged in between his internet router and the power outlet. At 10 p.m. each night, the outlet timer cuts off his power to the router. When the internet goes off, everyone knows it is time to go to bed. I think we need this at home also. Then, how to automate good habits and never think about it again. So let me read the summary for this chapter: how to make good habits inevitable and bad habits impossible. One, we have the inversion of the third law of behavior change is make it difficult. You know, the third law is make it easy. So the inversion is make it difficult. Make the good habits easy and make the bad habits difficult. So, two, A commitment device is a choice you make in the present that locks you in better behavior in the future. Number three, the ultimate way to lock in future behavior is to automate your habits. Number four, one-time choices like buying a better mattress or enrolling in an automatic savings plan are single actions that automate your future habits and deliver increasing over time. Then we have using technology to automate your habits is the most reliable and effective way to guarantee the right behavior. Then chapter, what should I use the next chapter? That should be chapter 15, which is under the fourth law, which says, make it satisfying. Make it satisfying. Chapter 15, the cardinal rule of behavior change. The cardinal rule of behavior change. Chapter summary for the cardinal rule of behavior changes. Number one, the fourth law of behavior change is make it satisfying. I hope you remember the first and the second and the third. Number two, we are more likely to repeat a behavior when the experience is satisfying. Number three, the human brain evolved to prioritize immediate rewards over delayed rewards. Then number four, the cardinal rule of behavior change. What is immediately rewarded is repeated. What is immediately punished is avoided. When, let's say um, for instance, you tasted something and it makes you feel good, that you got that reward immediately, trust me, you would want to repeat that action. You would want to keep on eating. But let's say you were given something bitter, you won't even want to repeat that action because what is immediately punished is avoided, and bitterness is more like punishment to us. So number five, to get a habit to stick, you need to feel immediately successful, even if it is in a small way. Then number five, the first three laws of behavior change: make it obvious, make it attractive, and make it easy. Increase the odds that a behavior will be performed this time. The fourth law of behavior change, which is make it satisfying, increases the odds that a behavior will be repeated next time. This is the fourth rule that makes it satisfying, that makes a behavior wants to be repeated. Then we have chapter 16, how to stick with good habits every day. How do we do that? Let's dive in. So, how to keep your habits on track? One, habit tracking is okay. Habit tracking is obvious. Two, benefit two. Habit tracking is attractive. Benefit three. Habit tracking is satisfying. The summary here says, one of the most satisfying feelings is the feeling of making progress. I can relate. A habit tracker is a simple way to measure whether you did a habit, like marking an X on a calendar. Habit trackers and other visual forms of measurement can make your habits satisfying by providing clear evidence of your progress. Then don't break the chain. Try to keep your habit streak live. Number, this is like number five. Never miss twice. If you miss one day, try to get back on track as quickly as possible. Never miss twice. If you miss one day, try to get back as quickly as possible. Then the next point says, just because you can measure something doesn't mean it's the most important thing. Are you listening? Then chapter 17, we have how an accountability partner can change everything. How an accountability partner can change everything. This is more like the habit contracts. You give a contract to a fellow, you write down the food that he consumes each day and weigh himself each day. And then you the punishment will be listed if he fails. So the summary for that is one, the inversion of the fourth law of behavior is make it unsatisfying. You already know how as it is done. The the inversion, which is like opposite of what you are supposed to do to form a new habit. So it is make it unsatisfying. Then the second point is we are less likely to repeat a bad habit if it is painful or unsatisfying. Then the next point says an accountability partner can create an immediate cost to inaction. We care deeply about what others think of us, and we do not want others to think to have a lesser opinion of us. Then the next point says a habit contract can be used to add a social cost to any behavior. You fail to do it, you pay. Then the next point says, knowing that someone else is watching you can be a powerful motivator. Yeah. Then we have another one here. A habit contract can be used to add a social cost. Okay, I've said that before. A habit contract can be used to add a social cost to any behavior. It makes the cost of violating your promises public and painful. Then chapter 18, moving on, which is the advanced tactics. How to go from being merely good to being truly great. Chapter 18, the truth about talent. When genes matter and when they don't. Your personality influences your habits. So the summary for this is one. The secret to maximizing your odds of success is to choose the right field of competition. Number two, pick the right habit and progress is easy. Pick the wrong habit and life is a struggle. Then number three, we have genes cannot be easily changed, which means they provide a powerful advantage in favorable circumstances and a serious disadvantage in unfavorable circumstances. Then we have habits are easier when they align with your natural abilities. Choose the habits that best suits you. Then number four, play a game that favors your strength. If you can't find a game that favors you, create one. Then number six, genes do not eliminate the need for hard work. They clarify it. They tell us what to work hard on. It's not like you say, oh, because my gene, I have like my gene is, I have like this, I have a good physique. Yeah, my gene gives me a good physique, and then just feel like I don't need to work out. No, your good physique, you need to work on it for you to be able to maintain it. If you have a good physique, if your gene is good and you have a good physique, and just keep on eating what you're supposed to eat, my dear, you will lose that good physique. So moving on to the next chapter, which is chapter 19, the Goldilocks rule: how to stay motivated in life and work. So the summary for this chapter is the Goldilocks rules states that human experience peak motivation when working on tasks that are right on the edge of their current abilities. Then the next point says the greatest threat to success is not failure but boredom. Make it exciting. Then the next point says, as habits become routine, they become less interesting and less satisfying. We get bored. So the next point says, anyone can work hard and when they feel motivated. It is the ability to keep going when work isn't exciting that makes the difference, honestly. Then the next point says, professionals stick to the schedule, amateurs let life get in the way. Professionals stick to the schedules, amateurs let life get in the way. Then the next point is chapter 20, the downside of creating good habits. So I'm just saying this. So there's a downside of creating good habits. Okay, let's see the summary. The summary says the upside of habits is that we can do things without thinking. The downside is that we stop paying attention to little errors. Habits plus deliberate practice is equal to mastery. Another point says reflection and review is a process that allows you to remain conscious of your performance over time. And then the other point says the title will cling to an identity. The title will cling to an identity. The idea it becomes to grow beyond it. Then the conclusion, the secret to results that last. So I'll be reading that. There's no summary for that. This is the conclusion to the whole book. I'll be reading that out for us. The secret to results that last. There is an ancient Greek parable known as Sorite paradox, which talks about the effect one small action can have when repeated enough times. One formulation of the paradox goes as follows: can one coin make a person rich? If you give a person a pile of 10 coins, you wouldn't claim that he or she is rich. But what if you add another and another and another? At some point, you will have to admit that no one can be rich unless one coin can make him or her so. Then we can say the same about atomic habits. Can one tiny change transform your life? It is unlikely you would say so. But what if you made another and another and another? At some point, you will have to admit that your life was transformed by one small change. The holy grail of habit change is not a single 1% improvement, but a thousand of them. It is a bunch of atomic habits stacking up, each one a fundamental unit of the overall system. In the beginning, small improvements can often seem meaningless because they get washed away by the weight of the system. Just as one coin won't make you rich, one positive change like meditating for 1 minute or reading one page each day is unlikely to deliver a noticeable difference. Gradually, though, as you continue to layer small changes on top of one another, the scales of life start to move. Each improvement is like adding a grain of sand to the positive side of the scale, slowly tilting things in your favor. Eventually, if you stick with it, you hit a tipping point. Suddenly, it feels easier to stick with good habits. The weight of the system is working for you rather than against you. Over the course of this book, we've looked at dozens of stories about top performance. We've heard about Olympic gold medalists, award winning artists, business leaders, life saving physicians, and star comedians who have all used the science of small habits to master their craft and vault to the top of their field. Each of the people, teams, and companies we have covered has faced different circumstances, but ultimately progressed in the same way through commitment to tiny, sustainable, unrelenting improvements. Success is not a goal to reach or a finish line to cross. It is not. It is a system to improve, an endless process to refine. In chapter 1, the author said, if you are having trouble changing your habits, the problem isn't you. The problem is your system. Bad habits repeat themselves again and again, not because you don't want to change, but because you have the wrong system for change. As this book draws to a close, I hope the opposite is true. With the four laws of behavior change, you have a set of tools and strategies that you can use to build better habits and shape better habits. Sometimes a habit will be hard to remember and you will need to make it obvious. Other times, you won't feel like starting and you will need to make it attractive. In many cases, you may find that a habit will be too difficult and you will need to make it easy. And sometimes you won't feel like sticking with it and you will need to make it satisfying, which is make it obvious. Behaviors that are effortless, you make it obvious. Behaviors that are difficult, make it invisible. Make it attractive, unattractive, easy, hard, satisfying, unsatisfying. You want to push your good habits toward the left side of the spectrum by making them obvious, attractive, and easy and satisfying. Meanwhile, you want to cluster your bad habits towards the right side by making them invisible, unattractive, hard, and unsatisfying. This is a continuous process. There is no finish line. There is no permanent solution. Whenever you are looking to improve, you can rotate through the four laws of behavior change until you find the next bottleneck. Make it obvious, make it attractive, make it easy, and make it satisfying. Do not forget the four rules. Round and round, always looking for the next way to get 1% better. The secret to getting results that last is to never stop making improvement. It is remarkable what you can build if you just don't stop. It is remarkable the business you can build if you don't stop working. It is remarkable the body you can build if you don't stop training. It is remarkable the knowledge you can build if you don't stop learning. It is remarkable the fortune you can build if you don't stop saving. It is remarkable the friendships you can build if you don't stop caring. Small habits don't add up, they compound. That's the power of atomic habits. The tiny changes, remarkable results. And that's the end for this chapter. Oh my god, I can say the last chapter is my favorite here. I love the conclusion so much, and I'm very sure I'm going to be revisiting it again and again and again because why not? So they also asked something for us here, asking us a question. So which is what should you read next? So I'm asking you what should you read next? So let me read it for you. Thank you so much for taking the time to read this book. Thank you all for taking this time to read this book with me. It has been a pleasure sharing my work with you. Yes, James, it has been a pleasure reading your book. If you are looking for something to read next, allow me to offer a suggestion. If you enjoyed Atomic Habit, then you may like my other writing as well. My latest articles are sent out in my free weekly newsletter. Subscribers are also the first to hear about my newest books and projects. Finally, in addition to my own work, each year I send out a reading list of my favorite books from the other authors on a wide range of subjects. So you can sign up at atomicabbage.com/newsletter. So that's that. Um, for our next reading, what we'll be doing for our next reading, I'll be reading out my favorite lines as I did for Psychology of Money from this book, the ones that stood out to me. You can let me know the ones that stood out for you also. So I'll be reading it out for us, and then I think we have little lessons from the four laws, so it's possible we'll be reading this out today. So thank you so much for joining this reading. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you've learned something from this. Do well to make your new habits satisfying, easy, and obvious. So see you at our next